Hello everyone, welcome back to the Talos Principle Reawakened with commentary. Last time we did World 7. We've got a few more worlds left to go. Let's see, where are we? That one is really bright for some reason. 654. Alright, we'll probably do those today. Loading. Aha.
Chaos is that which existed before time, when the words of a story lose their meaning, when actions cease to have purpose. Know that only faith can protect you from this peril, here in the Garden of Worlds.
I think there's something about getting on top of things. I wonder if they kept it in Unreal Engine. That was a weird glitch. Ah, now I am here. Does this help? I don't think so. Nowhere really to jump to from here. Chaos is that which existed before words. What could that mean? Well, it could be that it could be just a narrative master being afraid of losing the narrative. I didn't jump at the right time, I think. Could just be, oh, I have the truth, and if you don't believe my truth, there's nothing! There's only chaos! But the thing is, aha! Now we have nice jumps. They knew we were coming over here. Ah! So it's intended to get up this time. Now where? Here? Okay. No! But chaos isn't bad. Like that's the thing that everybody just assumes chaos is bad, right? Chaos is just tumultuous potential. It's a lack of order, but it's not evil, it's not to be something to run away from. You wanna go there first? Oh, stay in the right spot. You know, chaos is the potential from which narratives are constructed. And as a storyteller, I've thought about this somewhat. You know, and you know, a bit of what's the word? It starts with an E. Existentialist. You know, we construct our own meaning. That doesn't mean it's arbitrary, but that means we have to recognize that there is a place from which meaning can be constructed out of something, and that something is chaos. I don't like the sound of the bugs. That is in the game, right? And so when someone is like, you must not question the words because then there will be only chaos. Come on. Chaos isn't bad. It's important for people to spend a little time in chaos now and then and find out what they can make. I seek the words to describe it, but fail. It is the overwhelming feeling that something is on the edge of my understanding is very, very wrong. I feel that I am not meant for this world, but I'm not able to conceptualize alternatives. Yeah. And that is right. So something is off, which is of course that ELOHIM has kind of broken and now wants to keep the simulation running as long as possible rather than fulfill the simulation's purpose. That's not a path. I'm a computer program. You're a computer program. Elohim's a computer program. Get over it. Einstein. This person figured it out. What have you got to say now? We're just going for the stuff. Osiris 11. But why, the dying man said, do the gods put all these challenges before us? Why the walls of iron and the gates of light? Why the abominable demons guarding the path? Why must our heart be judged to be as light as the feather of Mot? Why is the road to Aru so difficult? The scribe considered these words. Some say that once the path to Aru were open, but too many sinners came, and the gods made the paths perilous to keep sin at bay. Others say that, being mortals, we cannot be worthy of Aru unless we walk the path of Osiris, and so become Osiris ourselves. But I believe that Aru could never be reached elsewise, for like the mountain path must be steep, the path to Aru must be fraught with peril. As steepness and mountain are one, so are peril and paradise. They are inextricable. They create each other. We don't see 1 and 2. 1, there's an interesting parallel to this phrase, and scribe appears to be speaking of Osiris, meaning the soul of the deceased, not the god himself, and then the one footnote that we can actually see in here is just corrupted text. Choice of life. The whole assembly stood a while silent and collected. Let us return, said Rassilus, from the scene of mortality. How gloomy would be these missions of the dead to him who did not know that he should never die, that what now acts shall continue its agency, and what now thinks shall think on forever. Homage to you, Osiris, Lord of Eternity, King of the Gods, whose names are manifold, whose forms are holy. You being hidden from the temples, whose Ka is holy, all the gods praise you, for you are those that lie here stretched before us, the wise and the powerful of ancient times, warn us to remember the shortness of our present state. They were perhaps snatched away while they were busy, like us, in the choice of life. But I think Osiris... what do I know of Osiris? He went to the land of the dead and returned. That's all I remember. I'm terrible at my Egyptian mythology. From Aurora Calvin. Progress report 16. This is extremely worrying. If the link doesn't work, the whole project will lead to nothing. The hardware team must recheck everything ASAP. Guys, stop panicking. Look at your code again. In fact, look at line 217 in data transfer C. What are those two symbols just before the code? That's right. The code that actually initiates the transfer wasn't even running. I'm guessing you were testing something yesterday and forgot to decommentify it. The hardware isn't broken. Your brains are. Oh man, the panic that must happen. That must have what's the words? I'm missing the words. The panic that must have happened in the Ian Institute in those last days, whenever something went minutely wrong. Oh. Humanity is doomed! Wait, no, just take the comment out, try it again.
Working with Tom Joubert was a very interesting experience. Tom is very funny and very smart and a very fine writer, but we're very different. Now, the strange thing is we're very different, but we're also very similar. And I think a lot of what makes our writing in these 3 games that we've worked on together interesting is the way in which our differences and our similarities kind of bounce off of each other. Philosophically, I think it's similar. We're very, very different. He is much more of a, freewheeling pantheist or something at this point, whereas I'm a very strict and precise materialist. And I think politically as well, we're very different in certain ways. I come very much from the tradition of the radical Enlightenment, Hegel, Marx, all that, and Tom is, I think, influenced by a very different kind of liberal tradition there, although again there's overlap between these things. And what's very curious and perhaps meaningful is that very frequently we agree on what should be done, but we don't agree on why it should be done. It is curious how people assign kind of views to us based on stuff in the game, where they assume that I must have written this or Tom must have written that. Even more so with Talos too, but I think frequently people have in their minds, they kind of build up an idea of what each of us is like, and I suspect the commentary will disrupt that a little bit for some people, because yeah, frequently they get this quite wrong. Over the years, we've had a lot of very, very intense discussions. We've never fought, we've never like had a problem with each other, but it does get quite intense because he loves to play devil's advocate, and I, like I said, I'm very precise. So it kind of it gets a bit crazy. If you've argued with Milton, imagine that times 10. That's what it's like between us. And of course, then you also add to the mix other people from Croteam, especially with Talos too. Huge discussions of ideas that would sometimes drag on far too long, but all of that adds to the complexity of the ideas that are presented in the game at the end. One final note, it's very difficult to ever win an argument with Tom Joubert. It's very hard to get to that particular part of the dialogue tree, but when you do, man, does it feel good. Like, oh my god, I'm brilliant. Look at what I did. Look at his facial expression. I beat him at his own game. But, you know, that happens like once every 1,000 years.
Oh man, that's gotta be so much fun. You know, they're like what's their name? Byron and Alcatraz, except without one of them being obviously the wrong. Man, that's probably the reason why the philosophy in these games is so good. They're both really smart guys with really well developed views and very articulate. Okay, so somehow I'm not getting one of these to the right place. Do I need to... Maybe I should put the second one here instead of there? No. I need to open it. I can't, like... put this one here, can I? No. Man, guys, I'm struggling with a puzzle. Can you believe it? Maybe I need to go through this window. Maybe I need to replace this one, which I can do. No problem. Now what? Okay, I don't want it to be right there. I want it to be a little farther somewhere. We have to go through here and then aim through there, I guess. Yeah, so what would I put myself as? I'm a bit of a philosophical wanderer. I love to pick up ideas from as many places as I possibly can. And then reinvent the wheel, so to speak. That's my thinking type. Well, why am I back here? I can't exit from here. Oh, yes I can. Huh. Nice. So I would say, I mean, spiritually, I think, well, what did he say? Like, well, something pantheist. You know, it's part of it is just words, right? Because like, I mean, I don't really want to label myself. Okay, to finish off this discussion, I will say that I would lean closer to Joubert's pantheist side, if it is accurate, as described by Jonas. But then I would I am very much a, how do I say this? I really resonate with the ideas of Hegel. And some of Marx, although some of Marx I definitely disagree with. Like the Communist Manifesto, ugh. But you know, ideas of class conflict, like that's the foundation of a branch of sociology. So it's like the start, he's like the Freud of conflict theory in sociology. So that's super important. And then what else? Dialectic materialism is a very, very powerful theory of reality, of the world and our relationship to it. And if you don't know what it is, dialectic materialism is the idea that the world, that we find ourselves in a world, and that shapes our ideas about the world. Our ideas influence our actions and how we reshape the world, which then reshapes our ideas about the world, and back and forth and back and forth. And you know, there's so many people, especially on the internet, who are like, oh, you can't listen to this word, that's a bad word, dialectic materialism, and if anybody says that, they're a bad person and you need to not listen to them. That kind of talk is just total BS. Whenever somebody says, do not listen to this idea, it's probably a good idea to, you know, actually go find out about that idea from the source. You know, that's a bit of a red flag for me. Someone says, don't listen to this person because they say these words and that makes them evil. I'm like, okay, well, why should I trust you? You're just trying to make me not pay attention to them. Now, of course, there are some things that are just bad. Like any ideology that has to do with dominance, like, especially if you are a member of the group that it says is the dominant group, best to stay away from that. But then, of course, I'm being contradictory with myself. I'm being hypocritical. And I guess there's no way around that, right? I mean, the antidote is to just open yourself up to as many philosophies and viewpoints as possible and look for good things in them. And that will build up a system within you that differentiates. And also look inside yourself, right? Because the ideas that resonate with us, the questions we ask and the answers we gravitate to, those come from a place of emotion. And oftentimes our philosophies tell others more about us than they do about the things we philosophize about. And so it's an eternal process of questioning not only our ideas, but our motives as well for going toward those ideas. And it's, by the way, it's very fun. What's more pathetic, this shallow construct of a world, this idiot's playground, or that I continue to solve its contrivances for lack of better sport? There's more to it. Look at what we're doing. We're solving problems, being tested, improving ourselves. Some of us fall early and get replaced, but you and me, we're still going. We're closer to the end. A dog and sheep. Egyptian arcade. Every time I see this, I'm like, wait, it's the end. No.
Here, those who are worthy may seek the counsel of my blessed messengers.
Shut up.
But their wisdom shall not be given easily, for your accomplishments must be your own.
Oh. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. Can you get me here? Yes. This is the goal, I think. get both the jammers out. Which I did. Hey, you can run backwards this time. Alright, will you blow up on one of the other ones, please? Oh, I made a mistake. Okay, I have to go... I think I might be stuck. I don't think I can do it. Yeah. Reset. Alright. This is arcade. This one's not so much a puzzle. Get you over here, or just run past. Alright, we good.
The counsel of my blessed
Shut up, I already heard
messengers
you.
must be earned.
Alright, let's do this. It's just gonna bounce off, isn't it? Alright, stop you. There we go. We're fine. I don't remember this one. We need to open this from close by. And then jam you. Oh, we don't actually need to get all the jammers through here. Okay, key. Okay, time to find out, can these guys destroy each other? I don't think so. Alright, can we get... We can, alright. Alright, I want this guy to come around in a circle so we can get him back through this door. There we go. Alright, not opening the other door again. There we go. Okay, now we just do the same thing. Alright, now we just go. Yay! Let me in. That's not the button. There's more! Oh, we need both jammers, I see. Dog. This whole world is a desert. Even the parts that look alive are just more sand. Everything is dead or dying. Anyone who tells you different is lying. I don't think these palm trees are dying. I also don't think they're alive because they're simulated. There's a wire over here. I get to turn one of these off? There. So I hit these two and then I go under the last one, I think. Alright, you can go underneath it without getting hit. Yeah. Alrighty. And just blankness over here. Okie dokie. These worlds are just 3 puzzles each too. I think there's more in the third world collection. Third zone. Does it say crisscross currents? That's the wrong one. Well, there's gotta be something else. Oh, there it is. All right. I remember this one. Put it up here. Maybe not. I don't see it. I guess we gotta go in here first. Oh, that makes sense. I was trying to go in the closer one first. Then I guess we gotta get in here, which is still easy. Is there like a window here or something? Just yet another connector. We got a lot of connectors. Well, we're using more than we need here. Do we really need all 4? I mean, we need one of them opening this. And one of them hitting blue. So we need... Well, here's an idea. What if we go... here... then up here... I'm actually right here. And then take this one and go here from up there. It's gonna block there, but that's okay. Haha. Laser block works. And then the last one we just go right under here. Yeah. We can now take the platform, which definitely looks like monkey bars. Is that all the platitudes in here? Yeah. No bippity booping. Only one commentary in this world. I guess it's a short world. World 5. We might pop our heads in the messenger world again just to see if there's any commentary. Whatever's going on here, I'm sure it has something to do with the tower. Everything is telling us not to go there, but everything indicates we must. Unless you're wrong and ELOHIM's right, or you're both wrong, or there is no right. Ah, come on, ha ha ha. You're just word mumbling there. Gotta get out of the logic and into the real world. I think you've been taking the thing in the archive too seriously. Yeah. That's Milton's problem. More Osiris. Tell me of the fearsome demons of the dust, the dying man said to the wise scribe. Though their terrible forms are loathsome to behold, they are not evil, for they are the servants of the gods, truly. They are the blessed doorkeepers and guardians of the holy paths. Their charge is to judge whether we are worthy to pass the gates that lead to Aru, and so they challenge us with riddles or in combat. This reminds me of old God of War, where Kratos would go up to beings like that and they'd be like, "You're not worthy," and then he'd just kill them and go in it. Is this true of all the beings that live in the Duat? Some say it is not so, that there are ancient gods whose names have been forgotten, and spirits of darkness whose names none have ever known, and that these must be avoided at all costs. But others say that these too serve a greater purpose in ways that Osiris has not revealed to us. And what of the hidden paths that are taken by when the dirt? Coming soon. From Rob McLean, your son in 3D. Hi Mom, I promise I'll be home soon. Maybe a couple of weeks. I know. But what we're doing here is important, and the team needs my help. I'm not gonna wait until it's too late. I promise, but there's so much we have to set up. So much that has to work for a very, very long time. Besides, I've always wanted to work on one of these supercomputers, and believe me, L is pretty much the best there is. And the team, Mom, it's like I'm working with rock stars and mad geniuses. Except nobody's heard of them outside science journals, of course. But Dad would be totally geeking out if he knew. Maybe I can tell him about it soon, huh? Yeah, I'm the first one in my family who went for a science education. What is the point of being alive? I know, it's an old question and not one that's easy to answer. But I mean, if you're reading this, you're alive. And someday you will stop being alive. Both of these facts are incontrovertible. So what about it then? Don't you wonder? Don't you just want to go from not existing to not existing again without even considering why? You, right now, as you sit there reading this, why do you exist? What is the purpose of your life? Do you have one? Should you have one? Is it better to have a purpose or not? When you approach death, will you feel that your life had meaning? If so, why? If not, why not? What defines whether a life was good or not? It may seem abstract right now, but that moment just before death will come. It is inevitable. If you don't ask yourself these questions, how will you face that moment? Well, it helps to have a very active imagination and a love of stories, where you're thinking about these things all the time. Yeah, I once went through the thought experiment of what if I was like standing on a cliff and then some animal just came up and knocked me down and then I'm falling for 1,000 feet. Like, what would happen? And I'm like, well, my first impulse would be terror and rage. Like, how dare this animal do this? How dare the universe rob me of my life like this? But then, like, in the next moment, I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to spend my last moments like that. I'm just gonna be at peace. And then that's how I would go. And that thought experiment helped me, like, put my own mortality in perspective a little bit, along with many other things.
So I've been looking back over the first, like, 4 Milton dialogues, and I've got so much to say, and I can't say it all because I don't want to fill up all the space in these commentaries. But I'll pull out a few things that I love. And if there's any YouTubers listening to this that want to do like a full playthrough of all the Milton stuff and do like a live podcast style, like to and fro chat about what I did and do it properly, let me know at Tom Joubert on Twitter. First thing that hits me is how much work I was doing. This is like a young, passionate writer given all time and space and support to do what he wanted to do. So I don't want this to be a list of all the things I did that I think were fantastic, but I'll pull a few things out. I love that in the very first dialogue, you can ask a bunch of questions about what Milton is, and he just gives you these very straightforward factual answers. And you can like test him, and you can say like, are you able to take offense? And he responds like a computer. In the second one, when you have to do the certification process, like it's very formal, it's very proper. Feels like interacting with a call center. And then it's slowly drawing you in. First question is, what is 2 + 2? Very straightforward, factual. Second question is, what's your subjective reaction to this image? And once he's softened you up, the third question is probably the most important question of the game. What best describes a person? And like, I did so much work on this, providing all sorts of different branches based on your answer to this one question. And I think the most common answer is a human being. I mean, that's definitely just wrong. There's definitely, as we go out into the galaxy and build new things and find new forms of life, like a human being is not what a person is, right? And if you ask me a base, what do I identify as? Like, I don't identify as a Brit. I don't identify as a citizen. I don't identify as a human. I identify as a person. And I would have that in common with, like, a developed AI that feels, or with an alien from the other side of the universe. And maybe with, like, a whale, right? Or a gorilla, or maybe a lot more animals than we think. So to me, in a way, the correct answer to the question is a rational animal is what a person is. Well, even that's wrong, right? Because an animal seems to exclude computers. And, you know, I'll put my cards on the table here. I don't know if AIs are or ever will be capable of...
Not to mention, not all people are rational.
But to me, what a person is something
people
that
are
is
rational
capable
sometimes and
of
not
feeling
others.
And of reasoning. And the assumption that carbon life forms can feel, but silicon can't feel, to me, has no real grounding. I think that's an assumption. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm open-minded to the possibility. So really, all the options that Milton gives you here to what describes a person, they're all wrong in their own way. And that's a very fair criticism that a lot of people have leveled at Milton, is that you can't win. And that is kind of the point. Although you kind of can win, but you can't win an argument. You could win the interaction, but not any given deductive argument. So then in the second part of the certification process, the first question, and this is what I'm saying, when I was young and I was working hard, the first question of that is totally different based on what your answer was to what is a person. And whatever you said, Milton presents a very reasonable counter-argument. So if you said a person is a human being, he says, well, since all human beings are persons, and some human beings have psychological capacities similar to animals, therefore some animals are persons. It's a very reasonable argument, and I would broadly agree that some animals are therefore persons. But a lot of people say a person's a human being, but an animal that shares every possible quality with a given human being is not a person, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Milton, because I believe in things, and Milton doesn't believe in anything. But if Milton stands for anything, I would say it's standing against prejudice and assumption. He doesn't let you hold any belief without following it to its logical conclusion. And all of us have these unchecked assumptions.
Next, yeah. Another thing that comes up, like, not just carbon or silicon, but neurons, like neurons that can change their hardware, which is brains, versus computer code, which is ultimately, it's not just carbon versus silicon, but it's, what's the word? Analog, changeable hardware versus digital, like, switches on and off hardware. You know, those are very different systems, and the question is, can those have the same type of consciousness, or would it be very different, or would it be not at all? And well, you heard my view on consciousness before. Well, I could talk about it again, because maybe I didn't maybe I missed some details. Alright, I gotta light this up so I can get across there. Wait, I don't have a... Oh, I do have a red source. There's another red source in there. But like, my view of consciousness is information interchange, right? So it's not developed theory at all, but like, my feeling is that the basic building block of consciousness is the interchange of information in any form. Like me making this connection and opening that door, that's like a brief hint of something just barely conscious. And it's weird, and I don't know exactly what that would be or what it would mean. But I do think that no matter how information travels from one place to another and interacts with stuff, that counts as conscious. I'm gonna need to get this out. Or, not conscious as we understand it. That requires billions of stuff interacting and forming patterns that can lead to awareness and behaviors. So yeah, I feel like we don't have the language yet. We haven't developed the language to describe my views on this. Especially without sounding just crazy. Can I bring this up here? Yeah, I can. Can I? No, I can't. So what if I use this box over here first instead? Can I open this from here? No. It's the end. Okay, I can open this. And open this. I need to switch their order. Actually, I don't need that on there right now. Well, if I put this... Okay, yeah, it's fine. So now I need this one. Oh, so my motion sickness has largely not acted up while playing this. However, I am feeling a little bit queasy today. So we may cut this one a little tiny bit short. So we need all three over here, right? But yeah, the past 2-hour episodes, totally fine the entire way. Maybe I'll be fine after just playing this for a little while too. Oh, I didn't need to do that, I think. Maybe I did. So yeah, usually people talk about consciousness as the question as, hey, can I take this? Not and stay up there. Like, oh, humans are conscious, animals are probably conscious, they have brains. What about AI, whose material is completely different from humans, but they can do the same thing? Well, hypothetically, they could do the same thing. We might have, I think there might be like the idea of something being Turing complete may have proved that... What am I doing? I need this to be here. Okay, that's fine. Like, I don't know very much about Alan Turing and early computational science, or any computational science, but I think the idea of something being Turing complete suggests that if you have a sufficiently advanced informational basis, then you can create any kind of complexity, any kind of behavior and thought based on that. So like neurons and neural connections are one example. And bits and transistors are another example. And these systems are Turing complete, which means that hypothetically we could build a computer that could do exactly the same thing as a human being, or simulate an entire human being in a simulated world. And people are like, well, the question, what would that person be conscious, or would they just be a pretend thing made of computer? And we haven't answered that question, but I think it makes the most logical sense if that being would be conscious. So then you have to, well, you don't have to, but you can ask the question, like we know there are levels of consciousness, right? If you're on the brink of sleep, or if you are asleep, if you are under anesthesia, if you're dead, those are many different levels of consciousness. Oh no, the recorder. Oh, we'll have to learn how it's different, and they changed it. And so it is natural to ask the question, what is the basic building block of consciousness? And we don't have any good theories, because like the only consciousness we know are human beings, which are made of billions of neurons. But the one hypothesis out of many, we'll talk about one, is integrated information theory, which is similar to what I believe, but not exactly. Integrated information theory says that it's just information taken together as a whole, whereas I think it needs to be dynamic. I think it needs to be happening over time, instead of just like a book being conscious, because there's a lot of information in it. I don't think that's correct. I think the book I think the consciousness of the book is the story that we experience while we are reading it. So the act of reading it, I am spitballing this, making this up as I go. So the act of reading causes the information in the book to interact with information in our brains, and that causes the conscious experience of the story happening. I don't know if that's profound, or if I'm just restating in fancy words the experience of reading a story. Anyway, so I don't think integrated information theory is right, just because I think information needs to be interacting actively over time for it to be conscious. Another example, or another possibility is, what is it? The acronym is ORC-OR, which I don't remember what it stands for. But it is a theory by, what's his name? Roger Penrose, who is very, very well known in physics circles for developing coordinates that make it possible to calculate what's happening inside black holes. Very, very smart man. Still very smart, even though he's in his 90s, and still like doing scientific and philosophical research. I am putting off doing this until I stop talking, because I am not going to be able to keep my train of thought while I'm doing this. I remember this puzzle being a doozy. You need to have multiple jammers out, and yeah. But his idea of consciousness is that it is the collapse of the quantum wave function causes consciousness. And that kind of requires you to know what quantum physics is. So basically it's when you shoot a particle between two slits. This is an example, just one example. The particle goes through both slits as a wave and interferes with itself, and then ends up if you shoot enough particles through the experiment, over time it shows an interference pattern on the other side, as if it's a wave. But one by one, It's just little dots that appear. You need lots and lots of particles to see the probability appear. And the idea is that individual particles are waves, but they interact all at once. They have like one quantum of interaction. Quantum means like the smallest possible amount. So they have a smallest possible amount of interaction. And when they interact, everywhere that they don't interact is suddenly no longer able to interact. And that's called the collapse of the wave function. And a lot of scientists are like, this is weird, it doesn't make sense. It means that the whole universe is changing, or it means that lots of things are changing all at once faster than the speed of light, and that doesn't make any sense. And so some people are like, oh well, the other parts of the wave don't disappear. They're still there, but they're no longer able to interact with anything that interacted with this particle, and so therefore another universe has been created. You know, it's the measurement problem. What counts as a measurement in quantum physics? And the mystery is, so what is this collapse? What is it when this wave function collapses? And Roger Penrose is like, well, I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm going to say that when the wave function collapses, that is the building block of consciousness. So it could be. I don't think he's right, but that's not based on science, that's just based on me having different views. Alright. Let's do this puzzle. So I need to record myself, stand here. I think I can pause point. Oh, that's nice. Okay. How do I quit? Do I have to come back here? Stand there. Alright. So you're pausing, and I can unpause you. Okay, cool. So now, but like I can't make a second version of me, right? Right, okay. So I need... I can't reach that through here. Somehow I need to hit... That might work. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I record myself. And... right here. Pause point. Okay. Now I'm good. Alright, so now I should be able to pick this up. And it's still jamming that one. Now I jam this. Now it's paused. No, jam the gun. Man, I'm worried that I'm not done. Am I gonna get a second jammer? Oh boy. Uh-oh. I have to get the jammer all the way through here. What if oh, I can't pull the jammer. What if I put the jammer here and aim it up there? Oh, this puzzle. It broke my brain the first time around, it's gonna break my brain again. Well, here we go. No. Yeah. I got another idea. Let's finish this. Let's just do it again. We go here, make a pause point. Okay. These pause points are so nice. Okay, what I think I want to do now is jam right here. Jam this door. So, now, when I'm doing this... Oh my god, my brain. I can go over here, pick it up, jam this, pause, stand here, pause. I think that's enough. Alright, so get in here. And I can pick this up. Alright. So we're paused. Now come over here. Yes! Oh my god, please don't be there a star that's even more than this.
My child, there is no shame in seeking another path.
Shut up! Why are you telling me that now?
For another day.
God, you can't see nothing. Did the thing open? Yeah, that makes so much sense. Alright. What a time to say that. Can't you see I was winning? I was winning, God. Four chambers of flying. I vaguely remember this. We can detach the fan and use it for buttons. Oh, like that closes it right and turns on the fan. We need to get items places. Let's take an item out. Does this open anything? No. I think there's ladders, so let's... Well, I don't know if we can get ourselves. It will go all the way over here, right? Maybe it will land on one of the buttons. There's also windows that I guess we can use. Alright. Dang it. Give me that back. Every puzzle needs a rewind button. So I guess we're back to the part of the game where I use my brain for puzzles. There's something to see here. Alright. So how do we get something through here? We could carry it with us if we could get ourselves through. So there's source in here, nothing else. Oh hey! I'm getting better at this. I figured this one out in minutes. Where's it all leading? I work, I rest, I work, but to what end? We're born and die and live again. This eternal cycle must be the nature of existence. Life is merely repeated suffering. An eternal cycle is another name for a prison, but you must understand the cycle before you can break it, for it's possible to escape and yet remain a prisoner, or to break the cycle by breaking yourself. This was the fate of the ghost that haunts this world. Break the cycle by breaking yourself, the ghost that haunts this world. ELOHIM? Okay. Well, we do have a source if we need to shine it out through here. And I remember there's a fun star puzzle in this world. Involves getting multiple boxes out. This one's angled a little bit. So what if we try putting it here? Oh, we can climb over this. Just, and then we're up here. Oh! Oh! Can we jump anywhere from up here? I can get the box over to here. That's good. Climb in and out here. That's good. If we put an object on a box, we might be able to pluck it from up here. Alright. Oh, not where I meant to be, but okay. Now we know we can put the box here. Look for all the elements. If it seems impossible, you might have just not noticed something. Yay! Yeah, like we might be able to get a... I don't know, maybe it's not high enough. Like if we put the jammer on here. Might be... What? Was that a glitch? I guess it was a glitch. Okay. I think you're not supposed to be able to do this. Well... Yeah. I'm cheating. Let's cheat! Yeah. Yay! Okay. Well, now I'm gonna want a jammer. And figure out how to do it again. But I pulled back the time I did it. Please? Please let me cheat. I promise I'll be good. There we go. Thank you. I will take a jammer. And I will put it... Let's see, how do I get to the edge? So this is the edge. We'll put it here. Aha. And now I would like a fan. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm pressing buttons. I don't know if that makes a difference. There we go. I will take the fan. And then I will take another fan. I don't know if pulling back at the right time does it, or if it's just random. But I am pulling back every time I reach the top of the ladder. And And then I will take a connector. Yeah, it's not really working. Well, there it worked. And then I don't suppose I can take the box. Nah. I don't know if I can walk on the particle gates. So that's why I'm deciding to go this way. Alright, this is gonna be fun. I thought for a moment, should I just solve the puzzles the intended way? No! No! I have the ability to cheat, so I am going to cheat! That makes it more fun. Oh, hey, there's something up there. Can I open anything from here? Yes, I can. Ha ha ha. Slightly elevated sigil. I will take this. It was surely so hard to get into that I couldn't hope of doing it without cheating. Just sad that I couldn't get to the terminal with just the jammer. Okay, where's the other one? Oh, that's where that is. So I will need... Where did I drop the other connector? I have two, right? Don't I? Don't I? Didn't I have two? There it is. Okay. So we hit this, and we hit this, and we hit this. No, not there. This. I don't need that one. And this. All of them. Right there. And now I keep losing it. It's right here. We hit this. And this. Alright, now we don't need this here anymore. And that is up there. And we could have... Could we have? Maybe not. I remember searching long and hard for a way to get attached to the Sphinx. Just leave that there. Oh, no, never mind. We will bring it with. This is actually necessary. There we go. That was a green? I guess we still have to unlock C, don't we? Don't know why I'm bringing this over here. Yahaha! Alright, so there's a connector, a receptacle right over there. So where did I leave my stuff? Is it over here? No. Where was it? I got all my stuff out. Where is it? It's a broken one. Commentary? Yeah, it would make sense that they front-loaded the commentary. Okay, well I need to find all the items that I smuggled. I mean, legitimately got out of the level. Over here. Yeah. Give me that. That one and over here. Oh wow. Not easy to get. Yay! I don't remember how I got it before. Not from that puzzle, I think I had to bounce it around a little. I need a fan! Oh no, where could I ever find a fan? Not possibly right here. There's so many buckets. Yay! I'm up so high. Now there's another one somewhere, right? Let's see, how do we, where's the, I can see nothing. Over there. How do we get up there? Probably just bring a fan, right? And a way to turn it on? No? Must be launched from that one spot we saw. What was that? I heard it might have been a glitch. Or there was another monitor, another computer somewhere that we didn't look at. And then one of these puzzles has a fan but gated on the outside. Need a way in there. Oh, by the way, another consequence of my idea of consciousness. And I have to do with this stuff over here. I'm not sure how we get up there. If consciousness is dynamic information, it's right here. Here's this spot. Oh, looks like you don't actually need another fan. Just need some boxes to get in here. My idea of consciousness would mean that anytime anything interacts with anything, there's consciousness there. Alright, would I need one box? No. I might have to reset this puzzle to try to get anything out of here. Or to try to get in there. You can't get over this wall, that's for sure. You need 3 boxes out somehow. It might be from this puzzle, it might be from somewhere else. I don't know, I'm not going for all the stars again, as I said. But like, back to consciousness. Move this somewhere we can find it. It would mean that anytime you interact with something, your consciousness, like, expands and connects with that thing. So, like, when you use your computer, when you see something, your consciousness is like connecting with what you see because the light is reaching you, bouncing from that thing. When you use a computer, your consciousness is connecting with the data and the information on the computer. And I don't just mean you're creating an image of the information you're getting from your senses. I mean your consciousness is literally expanding and connecting, and it doesn't feel that way because there's extremely low bandwidth. But if you had like a wire in your brain that had like 1 billion channels through it that you connected to a computer that was equally sophisticated as your brain, then you would just become yourself plus the computer. That would be your conscious experience. Or another person. If you wired yourself with a 1 billion channel wire to another person's brain, then you and that person would have a single unified conscious experience. It's kind of like the fact that we have 2 hemispheres of our brains, a right hemisphere and a left hemisphere, but we experience our lives as if we are just one being. But then if you, there's experiments where people have separated the hemispheres to treat epilepsy, and there was evidence that one side of the brain didn't know what the other side of the brain was thinking. So they kind of like evolve into two separate people, just sharing the same body and the same experiences, and so still thinking they're one person. Awesome stuff. I'm a sci-fi writer, can you tell? Attention, administrator, the network connection has been re-established. Would you like to reconnect to the previous session? Yes. Are you back? Yes, what we were trying to say before? Yes, did these terminals talk to you at all? Yes, but how do I know I can trust you? I'm pretty sure this is just Milton. Fantastic, so there's a grand total of 2 sane people in this world, and we can't find a way to trust each other. How about I tell you what I think? I've been trying to figure out how this place works. Sometimes it seems like there's a purpose to everything, other times not so much. I think we must be plugged into some kind of machine. I think something else is going on. What do you have to go on? Making assertions is a hazardous enterprise. Well, if I believe that, I wouldn't be telling you all about my crackpot theories of consciousness, would I? What else could possibly explain all this? I don't believe in demons and evil wizards. Well, what else could possibly explain all this? That just means you have a failure of imagination. I think it's some kind of punishment. I think something's gone badly wrong. I don't believe in anything anymore. Perhaps you have it right after all. I think we're being prepared for something. And of course, all of these are wrong, given the nature of the story. Well, this is the closest, right? We're being prepared for something, but it's not like us individually, it's us and our progeny over the generations. And then, of course, there's meant to be a parallel with history as well. You know, the Talos bots are evolving in the simulation for the purpose of achieving a higher existence within the material world as a society, right? So then it's meant to parallel the idea of like, we don't know why we're in society, we don't know what society is leading toward, or if there's anything it's being led toward, but we could, but you know, it does kind of feel like there's progress. You know, there's a lot better philosophy and moral philosophy than there used to be. We're now more connected than we ever were before, more tolerant than we ever were before. And so it feels like we're getting somewhere better, or I mean, a lot of people feel like we're going somewhere worse. I mean, J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings, the kind of the slow decay of society until fate or God or whatever causes something to happen that just saves everything. What was I saying? I went off on a tangent. Anyway, I'm gonna say I think it's some kind of punishment. I suppose that would explain a lot. With a typo? Listen, there's something else maybe can help us. Suppose we're in some kind of computer program. These things always have a back door, right? I think I've found it. I think we can escape. There's this keyword I found repeated all over the place. I just don't know how to use it. I have no idea either. What is it? You shouldn't dig too deep. Dangerous. I have no idea either. Well, 2 heads are better than 1. Someone logged into the session. Wait, what is that? What are you doing to my terminal? I don't think it's a good idea. Session terminated. Alright. Yeah, and then that being Milton, we'll probably talk about it more when Milton happens. I mean, I've been like saving my ideas, or have had the habit of being like, oh, I don't want to talk about that now because I'll talk about it later. But I've also noticed that I tend to forget things when I talk about stuff. So maybe if I talk more than once, there'll be a clearer, more rounded idea. So what brought that up? What was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, the fact that that's Milton. He's teaching us about the trusting the words, right? And how you can get caught up in this, in what you believe based on the words you see or hear or say, and that being that there's somebody else here and we want to believe there's somebody else here. Where the frick is this other computer terminal? Maybe it was in a different world. We get so caught up in that, and then he's gonna dash us and say, well, haha, you believed that? You were so wrong! Here it is. Turn off. Alright, we got some more stuff. Hippocratic corpus. On the sacred disease. Men ought to know that from nothing else but their brain comes joy, delights, laughter, and sports, sorrows, griefs, despondency, and lamentations. That is just not correct. It plays a very important part, but it's the interaction between the brain and what's happening outside via informational channels through the senses, you know? By this, and in a special manner, we acquire wisdom and knowledge, and see and hear, and know what are foul and what are fair, what are bad and what are good, what are sweet and what unsavory. Some we discriminate by habit, and some we perceive by their utility. But this we distinguish objects of relish and disrelish, according to the seasons, and the same things do not always please us, and by the same organ we become mad and delirious, and fears and terrors assail us, some by night, some by day, and dreams and ultimately wanderings and cares that are not suitable, and ignorance of present circumstances, destitute and unskillfulness. Okay, that was definitely an ancient text. It is interesting to be like, well, why did they talk so weird back then? Why can't they just speak plainly? Whereas to us, like if they heard us speak, they would say the same thing. Why can't they talk like this? This is speaking plainly. Everybody knows what this means. Who knows what those modern, postmodern people are saying? I say that as a distinguishing from, I kind of believe that the modern era is over, and it kind of ended around the year 2000, and now we're in the postmodern era. I don't want to, not specifically 2000, but I do think that that's what I mean when I say the postmodern people. Not as a philosophy, but as a time history, period of history denotion. Bronstein brain. The human brain is a product of the development of matter, and at the same time is an instrument for the cognition of this matter. Gradually, it adjusts itself to its function, tries to overcome its limitations, creates ever new scientific methods, imagines ever more complex and exact instruments, checks its work again and yet again, step by step penetrates into previously unknown depths, changes our conception of matter without, though, ever breaking away from this basis of all that exists. Meaning matter, I imagine. Yeah, but there is the one detail of the fact that matter is a concept created by the brain, and however good a theory it may be, however practical and useful a theory it may be, and empirically verified, it is still just a theory. Whereas consciousness we have direct access to, and so therefore we know that we know with absolute certainty that consciousness is real. We know with almost absolute certainty that matter is real. No, that's not even right. That's not what I'm trying to say. I am still trying to say that we think of matter as substance that is beyond concept. That is incorrect. Matter is a concept. The substance beyond concept is something that we can't know. Our best approximation is matter. Our best approximation for the matter-like part of it is matter. But the pattern-like part of it, like waves and behaviors and mythology, we use other theories for. Chesterton brain. The human brain is a machine for coming to conclusions. If it cannot come to conclusions, it is rusty. When we hear of a man too clever to believe, we are hearing of something having almost the character of a contradiction in terms. It is like hearing of a nail that was too good to hold down a carpet, or a bolt that was too strong to keep a door shut. Man can hardly be defined after the fashion of Carlyle as an animal who makes tools. Ants and beavers and many other animals make tools, in the sense that they make an apparatus. Man can be defined as an animal that makes dogmas. As he piles doctrine on doctrine and conclusion on conclusion in the formation of some tremendous scheme of philosophy and religion, he is, in the only legitimate sense of which the expression is capable, becoming more and more human. I want to pause and say, ever after I read this the first time, I kept thinking back at it, and I was like, damn, that is so true. That is real. And now this is what I believe is the difference between a person and not a person. Is this exact thing. The ability to create dogmas, to create narratives, to create theories and models and explanations of the world and self. When he drops one doctrine after another in refined skepticism, when he declines to tie himself to a system, when he says that he has outgrown definitions, when he says that he disbelieves in finality, when in his own imagination he sits as God, holding no form of creed but contemplating all, then he is, by that very process, sinking slowly backwards into the vagueness of the vagrant animals and the unconsciousness of the grass. Okay, that part I don't agree with so much. Trees have no dogmas. Turnips are singularly broad-minded. So I'm trying to figure out what this is saying. No, I do think, so from my own experience, there was a time when I was really focused on like looking for the truth. To like find that one set of ideas that was correct and discard all the ones that were wrong. Now I'm at a point where I'd see that as not even worth thinking about, not even worth trying, because it's, what is it, like I've climbed the ladders, or I've climbed the mount, okay, how do I want to say this? It's like all the truth possibilities are scattered around on the ground, and now I've got to a place where I've climbed up on a ladder or up in a tree, and I can look down and I can see all of them. And to me, that's not like plants and animals, or trees and turnips. They don't have this ability to see all the possible ideas and theories and philosophies. Whereas if a person gets to the point where they can see all the philosophies and ideas as just that, as ideas and not truth, then that's a step up past like an evolution of a later stage of the journey than somebody who's fixated on looking for the one explanation, the one ideology, the one religion, the one set of ideas that are true and everything else that's false. Yeah, so I guess I would disagree with the last part of this. Neuroscience. Physiological history. Volunteers suffered a blood clot during infancy, which resulted in a left hemisphere stroke. Expected result. In normal adults, the left hemisphere is used for language and other cognitive functions. Extensive damage to this part of the brain usually results in severe cognitive deficiencies. Okay, that is unspecific. It is language and logic and details and constructing theories is the left side of the brain. The right side of the brain is for metaphor and music and poetry and that kind of thing. And I read a really good nonfiction book if you're into any kind of like pop philosophy books. Not pop philosophy, but like written for professionals, but in an accessible way, called The Master and His Emissary. by Ian McGilchrist, which starts from the science of the left and right hemispheres, and then, what does the book even do? But like, basically argues that science is only, current science is very overly using the left hemisphere and ignoring the right hemisphere. And if we integrate the hemispheres together and look not only in terms of logic and detail and categorization, but also in terms of patterns and holistic perspective and meaning and metaphor, then we could advance our understanding and like bring science to a higher level. I mean, I might be putting words in his mouth, but it's a really good book, The Master and His Emissary. Yeah, so I am of the opinion, especially as a sci-fi writer who likes to world build but also likes the human element, searching for the meaning of life stuff, I'm very in favor of integrating both hemispheres together and tapping into that power. Observed result. Volunteer is now 17 years old and displays only very subtle cognitive deficiency. MRIs indicate little to no activity in the left hemisphere, suggesting its usual functions have been taken on by neuron sets in the right. Volunteer's age at the time of the stroke may have helped the brain to adapt. Yeah, that's another thing. The brain is extremely plastic, especially in the early years. And so what the brain needs to do, it figures out how to do. Awesome stuff. Glad I came here. Alright, have we got more puzzles? I think we got some more puzzles. The big world. Beautiful too. Those cirrus clouds up there. And I don't remember what any other... I know cirrus and cumulonimbus, and that's all the clouds I remember. One more. Oh yeah, we went. Well, it's not bother with getting up there. Isn't that just like Alex saying that her favorite band is Pink Floyd or something? Where's this puzzle? Here it is. Or that might actually be the place where you go into a cave and get the Pink Floyd Easter egg. Alley of the Pressure Plates. Alright, if we take this off, it's fine. Yeah, you aren't kidding. It is an alley of pressure plates. There's the end. Oh, it's this. Right, we have to get all the way through with just ourselves and the items. So there's 3 items. What's the point of that? Okay, it needs to be up there to open this. Okay, so we need to use the box. So I'm thinking what we do is we do this and we stand here and we create a pause point, and then we go and we stand here to open this. Wait. Okay, so first we set this up. The first thing we do is we set this up using this, and then once it's set up, then we use it again to open this, and we'll run back a few times, back and forth a few times, making pause points, because we are going to need to, if we stand here and all the items are over there, then we can just take out all the items and then unpause, and then we walk over here, and then we take all 3 items, 1, 2, 3. I think that's enough. I think that might be it. I think that might be good enough. Assuming there's no doors I'm not seeing. Alright, so let's do it. I think that's good enough. No. We need this to be off. Alright, now it should work. Oh. We need this to be off? Okay. Okay, how does that work? No, it doesn't. Record here, pause here. Now we're done. Alright, so now we'll put this here. We can attach this. Hopefully it doesn't go right through the guy's body. That's fine. Okay, there we go. That's what we need. Okay. So that's good. That's what we need. Now... Oh, I see a problem. The problem is... The problem is, if it's going, and we take the fan away, there's still a fan there. Okay. So, I think we might have to... Wait, can we set this up while we're in here? I don't know. Can we set it up? Oh no. Oh no, my brain's shutting down. Uh-oh. These damn things. Alright, I think I messed it up. I think I gotta reset. That's quite the assault on the eyes. I know, I lost all my items out there. That's okay. We're just gonna solve this and then be done. Okay. So... Alright, how can we do this? We will need... So while we're doing this, we could probably detach some things. We could detach some items. And then place the fan back. So what's the final thing that we need? We need to be over here with the laser attached. Which means that while we are over here, we need all the items to be over here. The fan, the box, and the connector, right here. That's the only way we can see over there. So, either it has to be like that in the past, or it has to be like that in the present and we use the past items to get through here. Okay, I think I see it now. So, in the past, we step on this to get ourselves through and then we build the thing. And then, still in the past, we come over here, we bring all the tools over here, place one there, place one there, place one there, and then stand there. Alright, you know, and part of this is digging back into my memory for when I solved this before, and part of it is I have watched a few other people let's play this game. It has been a while since I've watched that, but I have. Alright, so let's do this. Record. Stand here. Pause. Now, go here. Grab you. Place. Grab you. Place. Grab you. Place. Pause. Alright, now we're done. Alright, and then the first time around we had to do this with timing, which was just nasty. The pause points are an incredible, amazing idea. Alright. The past us is blue. I like the new coloring. I think it was a little bit blue, not nearly this saturated before. And what's over here? Now that we have pause points. A thing. Not even a dev commentary saying this secret is oh, oops. Whoops. I missed something. Let's try to avoid resetting, shall we? Awkward. Okay, take these out here. Alright, box. Alright, so we just gotta go in here, pause point, and go quickly so we don't have to wait very much. I'm kind of leaning toward not using these, oh right, not using the playback recorders in my custom levels just because they're so unwieldy. Alright, now we do it right. A fan, a box. And we connect this to there as well. We kind of need to open the final door. That might be important. Not sure, but it might be. Alright, now guys, don't stop being silly. Come back here. Yay, I did it! Bye-bye. Alright, let's blow this joint. What does this say? I probably read it already. No answers. Yeah, you've just been talking to Milton too much. What do you mean you come to the conclusion that there are no answers? Isn't that supposed to be an answer? Oh no, I'm sorry. That's cheating. I can't say that. You know, you gotta keep in mind that anytime people are philosophizing, there's a person doing the philosophizing, and that is important to the conversation. You know, so much I am less and less convinced that there is merit to ideas in the abstract. I think there always has to be a person talking about or thinking about or constructing the idea, and there has to be a reason, an emotional motivation behind the idea. Otherwise, if it's just an idea, it's not really worth much. I mean, it can be interesting, but still it's interesting to you while you're thinking about it. You know, like this game, this Let's Play, I'm not just talking about philosophy, I am a Let's Player talking about philosophy to you guys who are watching this because you like this game and you get some kind of tingle out of the idea of philosophy and you like ideas probably. And that brings interest and entertainment to you. For whatever reason in your life you need interest and entertainment for. See, it's more than just the philosophical idea of the brain and dogmas, or of the incompleteness theorem. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode of Talos. I'm getting tired. Next time we'll finish up the world, and we'll move on to the next one. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you then.